Let me start by asking you very quickly, on the allegations of sleaze against the Katsina state government. What prompted your investigation into the affairs of the Katsina state government? What prompted it?
Well, I think it has a constitutional root. Section 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, dealing with fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, clearly spelled out why you have government in place: to protect lives, properties, honor, and dignity of people. When lives are being lost and people are being killed like rats by the minute, by the hour, by the day, by the week, all year through, when public institutions have completely collapsed, educational institutions looking like dustbins, when the health sector has completely collapsed, when there is clear looting and daylight robbery of public funds, it calls on people of conscience to speak out. As I'm talking to you now, I am a living witness. When the governor was campaigning in 2015, he made a categorical statement that were he to get half of the money that Governor Shema had for 8 years, he will convert Katsina State into a small London. As God will have it, he got more than he asked for. Between June 2015 to April 2020, Masari government got 1,230 billion as an income from Federation account, from ecological fund, from IGR, internally generated revenue, from intervention of CBN, intervention of federal government, from Paris Club refund, from selling and disposing of all public assets of Katsina State, and from such other sources, 1,230 million within 59 months. Go down back memory lane, Omar Musa Adua, the governor who presided over Katsina for 8 years, plus Shema, put together, got only 1.1 trillion naira in 16 years. Therefore, there is no excuse for seeing Katsina State in a pathetic, dilapidated, sad, and irresponsible state of despair, despondency, crisis. We are harvesting death every minute. Just yesterday, 16 people were killed in a village. In spite of the more than enough available, 8 local governments have now been taken over by bandits. In spite of the more than what is available on ground, 30,000 retirees from public service have not collected their gratuities. In spite of the more than enough, from 2016 to date, less than 20% of students got their scholarship awards. In spite of what is enough to take up to the greater heights, our roads are dilapidated. The state is indebted currently to over 280 billion naira. That is in spite of that more than 1.323 trillion naira income within 59 months. These are the smaller pictures. These are the scenarios. These are the circumstances. These are some of what is on ground to compel people like myself to speak out, to shout, to talk, and to demand that people wake up before they are finally buried by this government of ineptitude, government of people who lack focus, government of people who don't care, a government that thinks it can do anything and go away with it.
Now, Mr. Shehu, let's take a look at specifics here, and it's interesting that you said you're a witness to the government's promises. There's been talk about nepotism in public service and public appointments in the Katsina state government. So how's that different from any other region in Nigeria, you think?
I think our nepotism rating in Katsina state is legendary. It has never happened. Let me give you this rundown. As I'm talking to you now, over 16 permanent secretaries who had served their legitimate 35 years in service, who had retired and have collected their pension and are collecting their gratuity have suddenly been brought back into public service as permanent secretaries, thus collecting a monthly salary, collecting their gratuity every month, collecting their pension every month, having paid their gratuity long ago. Why are they back? It is because they have been participants in the past looting, and being out of the system will not be safe for the current manager of the Nigerian economy, of the Katsina state economy. Secondly, they are also back because they have the permanence, they have the secretary to the government and the governor as people who are either their blood relations, or their personal friends, or they are own partners in crime. Therefore, keeping them longer outside the system of government will not be safe for them and will be giving the governor and the SSG sleepless nights. Number two, where you have a cashier, there is a cashier called Masaudu. He was a cashier in the government house for 6 years. During his reign as the cashier, he was the closest person to the SSG. And by the last count, they have withdrawn in cash within the period of 5 years over 40 billion naira, with Masaudi's name appearing at every cash collection in tranches of 10 million, 10 million, 10 million over the last 5 years. Therefore, keeping Masaudu at a distance will not be safe. Therefore, what they did is now they transferred Masaudu back to another department in the governor's house, in the governor's office, under the power generation project. He was at the local government ministry as a cashier, and you could see what he did. Within a day, he will go to the bank 25 times. Access Bank has a branch in Katsina, has a branch in Daura, has a branch in Malumfashi, has a branch in Funtua. Now, in a kind of unbelievable behind-the-scene power, you will see in bank statement the same cashier, Masaudu, have visited Malumfashi with 20 checks of 10 million naira, let's say on 1st January, and he has cashed them. In the same day, he has been to Daura with 32 checks of 10 million naira, cashed them. In the same day, he was in Katsina Central with 28 checks of 10 million naira, cashed them. And in one British in Malumfashi, all on the same bank statements, such that in one day, he will collect 1 billion naira cash. In a total of 1 month, he will collect over 6 billion naira cash. Recently, in a bank, in Access Bank, I have the account, I have the details, I have everything. In between just one account, Katsina State government has 43 bank accounts. In just one account, in 5 years, Masaudu Aliyu collected 11 billion 498 million in cash. One begin to wonder, where is EFCC? Where is NFIU? Where is the central bank? Where is NDIC? Where are all other financial regulating organizations when this nonsense is happening? The tragedy in Katsina is being orchestrated and is being supported by all banks that have Katsina State government account in their banks. They are complicit. They are conniving with government officials to steal people's money for selfish and irresponsible reasons. I will go further again. You have somebody who is just on level 10. Just last week, there were appointments. And incidentally, of the appointment of permanent secretaries, 4 of them are officers below the level 12. But they were upgraded against all clarion calls. Now they are permanent secretaries in court. What will happen to the psychology of their colleagues? What will happen to the psychology of their seniors? What will happen to the psychology of the entire public servants? It is the same system where in the last 9 years, there are people who are called casuals. It is against the level in Nigeria. There are people who are still earning 5,000 naira in Katsina. Amma da sauran kallo rana jama'i sai bayyana.